Welcome back everybody, and today I got my first pair of Air Maxes on the channel. Today I'm going to be working on a pair of Hirachi Air Max 1 Premiums. The uppers of the shoes are in good condition for their age, but there's a few stains on the leather toe box. Since the shoes are from 2006, it is to be expected that the midsole would be in bad condition. Here you can see it's just falling apart with ease. Surprisingly, the midsole is crumbling in large bits, which is unusual because most shoes of this age would crumble in smaller bits. Luckily, this will make it a lot easier when I go ahead to try and take the original midsole off the outsole and any little bits of off the upper. The midsole on the left shoe is in a lot better condition here, as you can see. It's only just starting to crumble a little bit. I was able to take the outsole off of the shoe with relative ease, and also here you can see that I'm able to take large chunks of the midsole off, which is very helpful. There are still some small bits that are left on the upper and outsole of the shoe, which I'll have to remove later on. I will end up keeping one of the larger bits of the old midsole, just so that I can use it as a reference for the paint match later on. Another cool part of the shoe besides the leather sock liner is that the midsole has a black and white speckle on it. Now to remove the excess bits of midsole that are still left on the outsole, I'm going to use some acetone and a putty scraper to remove the rest of it. To get the excess bits of midsole that are still left on the upper, I'm using a Dremel with a sanding bit. If you made it to this part of the video and are enjoying it so far, it'd be greatly appreciated if you went ahead and liked and subscribed. Also make sure to go follow my Instagram and TikTok account, as I post exclusive content there every Monday and Thursday after videos. Now with everything removed from the upper of the shoes, I'm going to go ahead and give it a nice clean down, as the suede and some of the leather on the shoe is a little dirty. And now I have my donor pair of shoes in. To get the midsole off the donor pair of shoes, I'm going to use some acetone to melt the factory glue off of the shoe. For this shoe, I sprayed both on the inside and outside of the shoes, as it helped a lot when I was trying to melt the original glue. When I was spraying acetone inside the shoe, I made sure to spray right around where the sock liner and upper are stitched together. Once again, to get the outsole off the midsole, I'm just using a bit of acetone to lightly melt the glue on the shoe, but I was able to pull it off with relative ease without the use of acetone in some areas. Since there's a tiny bit of fabric left on the donor midsoles, I'm going to go ahead and use a Dremel with a sanding bit once again to remove the remaining material off the midsoles. Before I go ahead and repaint the new midsole, I'm going to go ahead and use some acetone and cotton balls to remove the factory paint and finish off the new midsoles. After I finished acetoning the midsoles, I went ahead and used some 400 grit sandpaper to lightly scuff the midsole of the shoe. Sanding with 400 grit will allow the new paint to stick very well to the midsole. Since the midsoles of the shoes are just black, I don't need to lay down any base coat. For these shoes, I went ahead and laid down 3 coats of black paint, and on the 4th coat, I went a little heavier. I also went ahead and taped up the air unit on the shoe just to make sure I didn't get any paint on it. As I stated earlier in the video, the midsole has a white speckle to it. To get this effect, I went ahead and used my paintbrush and lightly dipped it in some white paint and then randomly spread it across the midsole. But I ended up thinking this wasn't correct, and I went ahead and changed it a little later on. Since the original midsole has a bit of a yellow tint to the air unit, I'm going to go ahead and try to replicate that on my own. I tried to recreate the tint on the new midsole air unit with some matte finisher and yellow paint. All I did was mix this with a larger ratio of matte finish to yellow paint. Unfortunately for this clip, I did not realize that I was out of frame for nearly the entire thing when I was tinting the new air unit. Here you can see a sliver of what I was able to get on camera, and I ended up doing about 4.5 to 5 coats on each shoe. Since I didn't like how the midsole originally came out with the speckle I went ahead and got a toothbrush and dipped it in some white paint. Using the toothbrush allowed me to get a smaller speckle on the shoe, which looked a lot closer to the original paint. For the leather toe box on the shoe, there's some stains on it which I was not able to get off with acetone or cleaning. So I'm going to go ahead and have to make a paint mixture to fix this. For this paint mixture, I just use brown, orange, and a drop or 2 of green.
This is a Homage beat.